Union, and I am representing a program called Financial Beginnings, which goes into classrooms and teaches financial concepts. Today we're going to be talking about budgeting, and budgeting really is just a fancy way of talking about how we're going to plan our spending and plan out our money. So we have a few money management strategies that we'll be talking about today, but we're also going to be talking a bit about dreaming and goal setting and planning how you're going to save money too. So those were really great questions that we started this class with. So, all right. First things first, everyone has a workbook, yeah? Yeah. Let's turn to page number 2. You guys all see that? And it's not necessarily the second page in your workbook, but it's the page that says number 2 on the top. And we're going to do an icebreaker activity called Mind Your Values. So if you had an extra $50 to spend, how would you spend the money? You wouldn't have it for, well, especially not, because we're planning how to spend it right now. So circle one item in each of these pairs. So let's just do the first column. So if you guys see it, the very first pair in the first column says hobbies or giving. You would circle one or the other, and then just go all the way to the bottom of the page. And I'm going to check and make sure everyone has it. Do you want me to show this in case people are following along at home? All right. If that was too fast, people can pause their screen. You're done? I still see a couple people writing. Oh, don't worry. Oh, you did all of them. Well, we'll go through the first column together and see what we have in this classroom. All right, it looks like we're finishing up. Does anyone else need more time? No, just the first column. Yeah. Yeah, just the first column. I'm not going to make us do them all. Okay. Who picked for hobbies or giving? Who picked hobbies? Raise your hand. We have 5 people picked hobbies. Who picked giving? Oh, so everyone picked hobbies. Social activities versus clothing. What are our values? So who picked social activities? 1. Who picked clothing? Oh, almost everyone else. All right, savings versus sports and recreation. Who picked savings? Oh, we got some smart cookies in here. Everyone picked savings? No one picked sports?
I only pick savings because I don't like sports.
Oh, you're like, it's just the better of the 2 bad options?
Exactly.
Yeah, why'd you pick savings?
I picked savings because the more money you have when you're a kid, the more money you'll have when you're an adult.
I love that answer. I'm trying to do a drum roll. Kind of? Okay. Next, education versus clothing. Who picked education? This one got a little contentious.
Thing is, I did all three of them and I didn't take education for any of them.
Yeah. So you guys don't have to tell me what you think I want to hear. I have no judgment. Whatever these are your values. So who picked clothing? Yeah? All right, we're about 50-50. Let's go to food versus sports and recreation. Who picked food? Food.
Food's important for the human body.
Yes, that's a good point. Food is important for the human body.
Because sports are almost useless unless you have energy in your body.
Oh, that's a good point, because I'm thinking, yeah, but sports, I mean, exercise is pretty important to the human body too, but you can't exercise if you don't have fuel, which is the food.
Yeah.
I like it.
Exercise is also free.
Exercise is free.
You can just do it at home.
Exercise can be free. Jumping jacks don't cost anything, do they? Your time. Actually, that's a good point. Time and energy are a cost. All right, I'm going to skip down so we don't have to do all of these, but let's go to food versus hobbies. So food, who picked food? 2 people picked food. Who picked hobbies? Oh, 3 people picked food. 3 people picked hobbies. All right, why are hobbies more important to you than food? Anyone want to share? Someone?
Hobbies are hobbies.
Because hobbies are hobbies.
Hobbies can be. Food can be a hobby.
Food could be a hobby. Absolutely. Cooking is a hobby. I grow my own food in my backyard. That's a hobby because I don't necessarily grow enough to not go to the grocery store.
Question.
Yeah.
What's with all the cameras?
What's with all the cameras in the room?
Yeah.
I'm going to have someone else answer that one.
We're live streaming, so it's those that want to watch it virtually. So,
Oh.
So if someone didn't hear that at home, well, I guess you know at home why the cameras are in the room. All right, let's go to the very last one I'm going to ask you. How about savings versus giving? Who picked savings? 4, 5. Who picked giving? Okay, so everyone picked savings.
Very important.
What? All right.
That's not funny.
You know, it's your values. The activity is all about your values. All right, so today we're going to break the lesson into 3 sections. We're going to talk about wealth. We're going to talk about savings plans. So a lot of you were very interested in savings, so we'll talk about it more today. And we also are going to talk about net worth. So we're going to talk about wealth and what it means to be wealthy. So I'm going to ask you all, what does it mean to be wealthy to you?
Having a lot of money that a lot of people who are wealthy have a lot of money that they're not using.
Interesting. People who are wealthy might have a lot of money they're not using.
Extremely rich people.
Extremely rich people. Okay.
Government.
The government. Or is the government in debt? I don't know. What do you want to share?
Wealth could kind of be anything, but in this case, it's money.
Wealth could be anything. Yeah, I actually like that. I like that wealth can be anything. Because I really like to think about wealth as personally defined and not actually just tied to money.
Really, money is just a human concept. It doesn't really mean anything. We just give it value.
Oh, that is so well said.
We
If
could
you,
be all wealthy or we could be all not wealthy.
uh-huh. So that's not actually in this class today, but if you didn't hear him at home, he said that wealth and money are a human construct, and they only have value because we decide as a society to give it value, which I love because if you think about it, you look at a dollar bill, what's it made out of? Paper. It's also cloth too, so it doesn't fall apart when you accidentally wash it in the washing machine. true. But what's inherently valuable about that? Nothing. It's valuable because we agree as a society that a certain amount of dollar bills can purchase a certain amount of products and services.
Technically, $1 could be $200 billion
Yeah.
if we decided on that.
Yeah, I like that. That's some good, we're getting to some philosophy here. So we'll talk about the difference between being rich versus wealthy. And really, if you look in a dictionary, rich and wealthy have the same definition in the dictionary. But for the sake of this class, we're defining them a little bit different. So being rich would be that idea of being defined by your income, whereas being wealthy is going to be defined by your worth. So rich individuals might have more material objects. They might spend all their income. They might have a flashy car, a big house. Or someone who's wealthy is someone who's living within their means, saving toward a goal, and really seeking to have a quality of life. So who here thinks being wealthy is the way to go? Who here still just wants to be rich? Who here wants the flashy car? Hey, it's okay.
Maybe
I
both.
want to be average.
Yeah, you want to be
I
both?
wanna pretend that I look like a normal person with just normal money.
Yes. Well, that's what we mean by being wealthy. Just having enough money to live on, to not have to worry, to actually be able to fulfill everything that we need to survive. And that's really what we mean.
For the wealth, what's the definition of wealth?
Mhm.
With that, or something else?
Oh, you don't have to write anything. We're just talking. So, yeah. There is an activity in the book where you can put your definition of wealth if you want to. But I think what I am going to ask everyone to do is to list one dream that you have. So on page 3 where it says wealth, there's 2 boxes. The second box says list one dream you have.
That requires money.
It doesn't have to require money. Absolutely not. Wealth does not have to require money. Dreams really, they don't have to be something unattainable. Dreaming is important, and it really helps us determine where we want to go or what we want to attain. So you can think of dream setting like you think of goal setting, and spend some time envisioning the life you want, daydream, no dream is too big. And dream setting is just the starting point. It really allows you to identify what your ideal life would look like. So it does not have to be financial. And if you're following along at home, you can just pull out a piece of paper and write down one dream that you have, or on your computer screen. pull up a sticky note or something. All right, and I'm not going to make you all share your dreams, but I am going to talk about goal setting. So goal setting allows us to break up big dreams that we have into really digestible pieces. So I have a couple different goals on the screen. You guys see this? We have short-term, I know it's kind of low. We have short-term goals. Those are goals that you might achieve in less than a year. We have, so short-term goals might be, I don't know. Anyone want a cell phone yet? Yeah, maybe saving up to purchase a cell phone. That might be a short-term goal.
Wait a second, I didn't hear properly.
Oh, someone already has a cell phone. Look at that. Intermediate goals would be goals that are going to take you 1 to 5 years to save up for. Can anyone think of an intermediate goal?
New house.
A new house? Oof, that's a long-term goal for me. But for some people, it might be an intermediate goal.
I would say maybe
A car?
like an apartment.
Yeah, saving up to rent your first apartment. That would probably take you a year to 5 years. Saving up for a down payment on a car could take you 1 to 5 years. And then I'm going to use your answer because for a house for long-term goals. So long-term goals are a goal that will take you 5 years or more to save up for. So that could be your college education. Woo. Woo. Hey, I got some jazz hands in the audience here. And then I think saving to buy a house, it could be an intermediate goal. It also could be a long-term goal with the price of houses now. So yes. Adopting a baby. Yeah, that could be a long-term goal.
He adopted, and it took like 6 years.
6 years. Yeah. Wow. It took 6 years for his uncle to adopt a baby. Yeah, that would, having children or starting a family, getting married, those could all be long-term goals. Do you want to share that? Not really? Okay. So I'm going to actually take you through an exercise that helps you make goals a reality. SMART goals. It's an acronym. Yes, it's in the book. So if you want to follow along, it's actually in the very back of the book. There's something that has a SMART goals worksheet, and it's your second to last page. And it looks like this. Oh, we'll skip back and forth. We'll go. So, what does S stand for? Specific. Specific. So that's about making your goals really, really specific and detailed. So who wants to throw out a goal that they have that we can use as an example? Anyone have a goal? Something they're trying to achieve?
I want to travel the world.
You want to travel the world. Okay. So let's start. That's a great goal. And it's something you can achieve. Absolutely. So let's make that goal specific. Let's pick, how would we make that goal more specific, do you think? Anyone else want to share? Travel the world is a little bit vague. How do we make it more specific? Yeah, that's exactly right. Let's pick some specific cities that we want to go to.
Venice.
Yeah, you want to start with going to Venice? Venice in LA or Venice in Italy? In Italy, yeah. way cooler, right? Okay. So now we know we want to go to Venice in Italy. How much money are we going to need to travel to Venice in Italy?
Probably in the thousands.
In the thousands? So there's some things we need to look up. We need to look up plane tickets. We need to look up food expenses while we're there. We need to look up a hotel.
I think it would be about, you probably need about $1 million in inflation.
$1 million now that there's inflation. That's a funny answer.
Probably not that much. Probably in the 10,000.
10,000? I think probably you probably could do it in $3,000 to $5,000 range. You could stay at hostels, which are, $50 a night, things like that.
It depends on taxes and how much it costs.
Yeah, so we'd have to do some research. But for the sake of this example, let's say we need $6,000. Let's just split the difference between some of the numbers you came up with. Let's say we need $6,000 for this first trip. How are we going to save $6,000? That's how we start making it measurable. That's where the M comes in. We now know that we're going to Venice and we need $6,000.
You could get a job, or you could save up in a savings account.
Yeah.
Gain money over time.
Yeah, so if you didn't hear that, some of the ways that we can start getting the $6,000 is getting a job and saving. And so how is that going to be attainable? What do you think? How long is it going to, let's say you do get a job. How long do you think it's going to take you to save $6,000?
Half a year.
Half a year?
If,
Yeah, $30,000 is what you're making.
2 years, like an average job.
2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
$6,000.
Yeah, so he's saying he's making $30,000 a year. We have someone else who's going, yeah, but the government takes like 30% of that in taxes. Yeah. Yeah, so the way you can do it, just commit tax fraud. We are not condoning that in this class, if the microphone picked that up. So if you if you want to make it attainable, you have to start thinking backwards. So $6,000, if you want to save that in 6 months, that would mean you have to save $1,000 a month. Can anyone do that here?
It's possible.
You can? With your job? Oh, you have your hand up?
In Oregon, it says the annual salary is like 74,000, but I'm not sure if that's.
I don't know if that's right. It might be. I don't know what the actual annual salary in Oregon is. But if you're thinking about that, if you're thinking about your annual salary, even if you are making $74,000, the government takes about 30% in taxes, 20 to 30%. And you're probably paying rent. You're paying for your gas for your car, right? If you're living on your own, you're paying for all your food. So you still have to figure out how to save a little bit. Now, maybe you get a job and you decide to still live with your parents, and then you can save $1,000 a month. It's possible.
You could also, once you get your payment, you could split it in half and put like some in savings and then use the rest that you have.
Yeah, so that's a really good idea that we have. So once you get your paycheck, you can decide to put a certain amount into savings and live off the rest. And so that's exactly what I would recommend that you do when you're saving up for something, to try to put the amount that you already told yourself that you're going to save into your savings account first before you spend any other money.
You could save up when you're younger.
Yeah, you can save up when you're younger. Anyone have any source of income right now? What's your source of income?
I guess chores.
Chores?
Or
Chores,
they get me a job.
and you're going to get a job soon.
Usually my dad just gives me coins.
Your dad gives you coins,
Yeah.
like collecting coins?
Yeah, I've been
Cool.
collecting coins for everything I do, like chores.
Ah, awesome. And then did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I'll pass for a second.
Okay.
I also do babysitting.
You also do babysitting? So let's say we have we sell our collector's items, we babysit, we get money for chores. Let's say we can save $100 a month. How long is it going to take us if we can save $100 a month to get $6,000? Who wants to do the math for me?
6 months.
60 months. That sounds more right. So 60 months is 5 years. 5 years. So by the time you're 18, you'll have enough money to go to Venice if you save $100 a month now. Yeah. But that's really how you break it down to figure out if it's attainable. You figure out how much money is really reasonable for you to save every single month. And then relevant. Is this something you really want? Now, what's your overall goal in life? Is your overall goal in life to travel? Or maybe is it to go to college?
My goal is to go to college and get a degree in photography, and then maybe become a photographer, and that way I can travel the world and take pictures and
Cool.
stuff.
Yeah, so the example we have is that the person who really wants to travel the world, their real goal is to go to college, get a photography degree, and with that, travel the world. So that $6,000 that we're saving, is it necessarily relevant, or would it be better spent on college? Probably better spent on college. Yeah. So you want to make sure your goal is something you really want. And then you want to give yourself a goal that has a specific date that you reach it by. So if we really are saving for the $6,000 for a trip to Venice, we know that it's going to take us 5 years to achieve that goal. So that's how you make it time-based. Do we have any other questions? Now, goals don't just have to be financial, right? This example was financial, but you are all have probably other goals that aren't financial too. Like, what about graduating high school? Anyone have that goal? Just one person, 2 people. I'm like, come on, guys. Your real goal is to graduate college. Yeah. Doctor? Are you gonna get? You're gonna be a doctor? Oh, a doctorate? Doctor. You want? Doctor. Thank you. Words. Words. Okay. So I'm gonna have everyone pull out their workbook again and flip back to a page that has no numbers on it, but it says final draft. You don't have to turn anything in. This is just for you to keep. So don't worry about it. So it's it looks like this. You see it? And I want you, this road at the bottom has different ages. So by the time you're 20, by the time you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, pick some of these goals at the very top and write them above which age you want to achieve them by. I'm just going to walk around, see how people are doing. By the age of 20. All right, I know we're not finished because there's a lot of goal options, but anybody want to share a goal that they want to achieve by the time they're 20? Yeah?
Start my own business.
Start your own business. That's a great goal.
Have good credit.
Have good credit by the time you're 20. That's a great goal too. Yeah, develop a budget, have an apartment. That's a great goal for the age of 20 as well. What about 30? What are some goals that we have by the time we're 30?
Buy a house and a car.
You want to buy a house and a car by the time you're 30? That's a great goal. Anyone else? What about 40? Has anyone thought that far ahead yet? Some things you want to achieve by the time you're 40?
Establish a good credit rating.
Establish a good credit rating by the time you're 40. That's great. What about 70? Anyone put any goals? Retire. That's awesome. You're like, what age did you put retire in then, if you want to retire early?
70 plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a golf. I'm gonna be like
60? 60 is actually not too early, a retirement, but it's a little early. 50 or 60? I love it. I love that we're thinking of retirement already. And I think you'll have a class on investment where they're going to go really into why starting thinking about retirement now is beneficial to you. Life is expensive. All right. So I have some questions about this activity. Was there a decade, like a certain age, that you had more goals than other ages? Yeah? What was yours?
20 and 30. Yeah.
20 and 30? And you said 30 over here? 30 and 20?
20 and 30.
20 and 30? It's coming up fast, right? So I want to talk about a little bit about how expensive life is. Have you guys seen anything go up in price this year? Everything? Gas?
Everything that involves money.
Everything that involves money. What about you? Did you raise your hand?
Well, no, but houses, the prices for houses have been going up rapidly.
Yes, the prices for houses have been going up rapidly. Same with rent.
And gas prices.
Gas prices. Has anyone noticed food prices going up?
Yes.
Yes? Yeah? What about anyone go to the dollar store?
It's $1.25 now.
It's $1.25 at the dollar store now. What?
Think about like the $1.25 tree.
Yeah, right? $1.20 and $1.25 tree. Do you guys know why that is?
The Dollar Tree with a question mark.
The Dollar Tree with a question mark. Maybe it's a dollar, or just someone shrugging.
Maybe it involves the conflict in Ukraine.
Maybe it involves the conflict in Ukraine. That's an example of why. That's gas prices, I think, is what they're blaming that on. Inflation. You know what? When I was your age, I did not know what inflation is. But because you all are living in a time with very high inflation, do you guys know what it is? Okay, printing more money, making things more expensive. Yeah, there's more money in the world. So actually, that's pretty good. The inflation is just this concept that the price of goods and services is constantly going up. So inflation actually occurs every single year, about 2 or 3%. Everything costs 2 or 3% more every single year. So that dollar in your pocket can buy 2 to 3% less stuff every single year. But most of the time we just don't notice it. It's small enough that we just don't notice it. If you think about it though, does anyone remember a time when the Dollar Tree was $1? Yeah. Yeah, no. But most of you do. So we notice it a little bit. But this year, year over year, the final numbers that came in for May is that inflation is 8.6% this year. So our dollar can buy 8.6% less stuff this time this year, than it could this time last year. So that's why we notice it. I know everyone gets depressed when I teach this. I don't know why. But that's why we're here. We're talking about savings and goal settings and creating spending plans so we can deal with how expensive life is, because everything costs money. You know what's really interesting is some of the examples that you all threw out. I heard gas, housing, and then I threw out food, but everyone agreed with me. what's interesting about that is those are all the things that you absolutely need to survive, right? You can go 3 weeks without food.
So you can only survive 3 days.
5 days.
without water.
Yeah, 3 days without water, someone said. Water costs money too. 3 minutes without air, maybe. I don't know. How long can you hold your breath for? That sounds about right. I used to joke that air was at least free, right? Even though water and food cost money. But then we had the wildfires a couple years ago. We all had to filter our air, and then suddenly air didn't feel free anymore. I see some nods. Yeah.
It's just like, okay, you gotta pay $20 for just this for just this oxygen tank.
Yeah, $20 for an oxygen tank. Yeah. So when you are living on your own, you have to figure out how much these things will cost. So, anyone want to get married?
Nope.
Some of us. Who wants to have children? A couple of us. Already thinking about it? What about getting a master's degree? Oh, yeah, a lot of you. What about buying a car? Everyone wants to buy a car. Awesome.
Because that's the only way of transportation, unless you have money for
Anyone thinking of retirement yet? Yeah. All right. So we're going to start talking about having some savings plans for all of this stuff. So in order to achieve all of our goals and dreams, we need to establish a savings plan. So what is a savings plan? Anyone want to guess? A lot of you have saved and successfully achieved things before.
I can name 2 examples. Have like a have like a bank account and just keep money there until you're older, or to just you know those piggy banks?
Having a piggy bank?
Yeah, you just put money in there,
Yeah.
and then when it's full, you go buy another one.
When the piggy bank's full, go and buy another one. Well,
You save even more.
so you gave us 2 options. We could save our money in a bank account or save our money in a piggy bank. I work for a credit union, so I'm always going to be a little biased toward the bank account, right? But the cool thing about a bank account is when you save at a savings account, it's actually insured by the government, so your money's safe. Like with the piggy bank, it's not quite as safe. Someone could steal it and it'd just be gone, yeah. Siblings, uh-oh. So having a savings plan is just having a guide on how much you want to save and how you're going to save it to reach your goals. So some things that you should save for. First thing is an emergency. Next thing is financial independence. And the last thing is going to be those SMART goals we talked about. Who knows what financial independence is? That's a perfect answer. Not having to rely on somebody for money. Yeah, you probably do have to rely on your job. I actually think of financial independence. It can be a personal definition, but for me, financial independence would actually be having enough money that I don't have to rely on my job. I would like that. I would like to just not have that hanging over my head. Like, if I got fired, I'm good. That's what financial independence means to me. But it can mean different things to different people. So these are some ideas of things you can save for. So we have a workbook activity, and I actually don't know what page it's on. So who wants to? Oh, yes, thank you. Page 6. So page 6, we have I save because. And you know what? I'm not going to make you write the whole essay here because this is an essay. but just a topic sentence. So just where it says topic sentence, write a topic sentence for why you save. And you all are used to writing essays, right? Mm-hmm.
I save because saving helps me have enough money for things I need and things I want. Saving also helps for unknown future events such as emergencies.
That's great. So if you didn't hear that, saving is going to help provide things that you want, things that you need, and money for unknown future emergencies. We have next.
I save to have a better tomorrow for me and my family.
You save to have a better tomorrow for you and your family. Okay? Anyone else want to share why they save?
I save so I can get anything I want and to just be prepared for anything that happens in the future
So we have,
financially.
we save for to be able to have anything that we want and be prepared for the future. Anyone else want to share why they save? Okay. With that, I'm going to give everyone a 5-minute break because some of you really look like you need it. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. And you can get up, walk around. Let's pull it back together. Still waiting on one zombie to rise. Okay. I like that motivation. All right, let's put the phone away. Let's get back to it.
What if I stole something?
And more meth.
All right, new topic, everyone. We're going to talk about having a spending plan. Now, you guys are participating so much, but we are still in book 1. We are still there. But I think there are 2 books. We may not make it to the second book. We may just make it through the first one. No, you're that great.
I just finished it quickly.
Yeah.
Spending plan. I see money,
I just
I
finished
spend
it
it.
quickly so that we can have more books.
But I see money, I find something, I spend it.
I like that. So in case you're filming, right? So have you started? Okay. So in case you guys didn't hear that at home, it's spending some of our audience says their spending plan is they see money and they spend it, which actually is how most people live their lives. So, but that's why we teach this class. Yes, that's why we teach this class, because unless you're really mindful with your spending tends to be relative to earning, which means you spend everything that you make. Everything that hits your pocket gets spent unless you plan it out ahead of time. So that's why we create a spending plan. And we spent the whole first half of this class just talking about dreams and goals that we have. So if we spend everything we make, then we're not going to have the extra money to achieve those dreams and goals. So that's why we have a spending plan. So there's a few different components to a spending plan. First, you want to look at how much money you have coming in. Who has earned income yet? That's a job. Who here has a job yet? Woo! We got one person with a job. Oh, some of the adults in the room. Okay. All right.
Wait, stop breaking the fourth wall.
Stop breaking the fourth wall. Okay. We have some of the kids too. You babysit? Yeah. You don't want to pay taxes yet. That babysitting money, you get to keep it all, huh? Yeah. But that's definitely earned income. How do you earn your income?
When I play golf, I always beat my dad, and I always get money from my dad.
Wait, so your dad pays you for beating him at golf?
Yeah.
Nice. How do you earn income?
I don't know.
Anyone?
I just do chores and I get money.
That's what I was about to say. Anyone have their parents pay them for chores?
That's just it.
About half of us. Anyone have their parents not pay them for chores? Yeah, you and me, buddy. My parents just went and you do your chores. All right, so anyone have portfolio income? So that would be you've invested in the stock market and you've made some money. No, not yet, not quite yet. What about rental income? You own a rental property, people are paying you rent? No? But someday, right? Someday, yes. Yeah, someday. All right. What about, I bet you, a lot of you can raise your hand here. What about gifted income? Who gets money for their birthdays? Everyone.
I mean, who would not get money for Christmas or for their birthday?
Yeah? Everyone gets something for their birthdays. Christmas, probably not taking out loans yet. Probably not. So when you're creating a spending plan, you need to know exactly how much money you have coming in. So that's the first component of planning your spending, just being aware of how much income you have. So none. If you babysit regularly, maybe you can look at I babysit for this one family every week for 3 hours. So that's 12 hours in a month, and you can kind of figure it out how much money you're going to make in a month.
I babysat someone for 3 hours, and my hourly pay is about 15.
Yeah.
And I got she gave me some extra because I paid them.
$60, so you only planned on making $45, but she paid you $60. That's a great bonus.
Oh, sorry, I forgot what is it. Oh, if you have no income, you don't have to pay taxes. So that's probably the only bonus having no income.
So the only bonus, for those of you who can hear him, the only bonus of having no income is you don't have to pay taxes. But you know what taxes do? I bet you taxes pay for the school. I bet you taxes pay a little bit for a grant, maybe some grant money to run Feed the Mass. I'm just guessing. I don't know for sure. But I bet you taxes pay for the roads. So there are some benefits to paying those taxes. Hi, yes. Hi, Mike. Welcome. Yeah, come on in. So we have, when you're living out on your own, remember the first half of this class we talked about all of those things that we have to pay for and how expensive they are. So we have a little guideline to try to live by, and that's the 50-30-20 rule. You want to spend about 50% of your income on the things that you need, 30% on the things that you want, and 20% save. That can be a little hard to do in Oregon because housing expenses are really expensive. And housing expenses are part of one of those things that we need. So let's talk about, we need to know, to be able to keep our spending 50% needs, 30% wants, we need to know the difference between needs and wants. So I'm gonna have everyone stand up. Yeah, I know. We're all gonna stand up. Hi.
Hello, welcome
Come on in.
Up School.
So this wall is going to represent things that you need. That wall is going to represent things that you want. And if you are neutral, you do neither want or need it, you can just stand in the middle of the classroom. So let's start with lunch. We're grumbling about being hungry. Is that a need or a want? Everyone says they need it. You guys are hungry, huh? Whole classroom is in the needs here.
I need to be a gremlin.
You need to be a gremlin. Okay. Does anyone either need or want to be a gremlin? I don't know. I saw that movie. Okay. Let's see. What's next? What about a new pair of shoes? Need or want?
Depends on how your shoes are.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we have some people in the want category. Why do you think a pair of shoes is just a want? Why does it depend?
Because sometimes people really need them if they're old, and sometimes people just want them because they look nice.
Yeah. So in case you didn't hear him, it could be a need or a want depending on if you have no shoes, you need a pair of shoes. If you just want a pair of shoes that looks nice or is fancy, then it could be a want. So that could be different from person to person. All right, let's say a game console, a new game console. Need or a want?
I would go over there, but I don't want to stand up. So.
I actually need a new one, but
So everyone says it's a want?
I need a new one.
Hey, you just said you need a new one. Why do you need a new one? Because your other one sucks? So it's a need for you, right? Yeah, be honest. Go over there. Come on. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear.
Honestly, I would want a PC. So I'm just gonna
That's a gaming console. It can count.
game console isn't a PC.
Yeah, but you can play games on a PC, can't you? All right. You're neutral? Okay. So why do you guys over here think it's just a want? You don't need it to live. Yeah. Unless you're addicted. Let's see. Let's see if I have anything else on my list. Ooh. How about a professional haircut? Is that a need or a want?
I need one.
I think the people in the needs probably have their parents cut their hair, and they're like, no, I need a professional haircut.
Me too. But my dad didn't really
I had
do
one
a bad job.
yesterday.
You got one yesterday? So the people who think a professional haircut is a need, why do you need it?
Because just look at my
Just look at my
hair.
hair.
Because it's summer and it's hot.
Because it's summer and it's hot. Yes, that's a great example of why you might need it.
I'm not
Probably
cutting
because
my
if you
hair.
try to cut your own hair, it's gonna turn out
Bad.
bad.
If you try to cut your own hair, it's going to turn out bad.
Also, people who, even though it is expensive, it's also like good for yeah.
Yeah, so even though it's expensive, what if you want a new babysitting client? Do you want your hair all funky and messed up? Or do you want to look professional to be able to get that person to hire you and trust you with their kids, right? So maybe you're looking for a job. Maybe that's why you need a professional haircut.
Bonjour.
Maybe you just want a super sweet mohawk. That might be a want versus a need. No mohawks. What about mullets? We're all into mullets here, right? All right, everyone can sit down.
Yay.
Woohoo! You know what? Money is kind of emotional, right? It's really easy to understand what we should be doing with our money, but then our emotions and our desires can really get us into trouble.
Like I spent $13 on a watermelon narwhal.
$13 on a watermelon? Narwhal.
Without money.
Actually, that's worth it.
But you have to pay only $1 for a wall.
Without money, we wouldn't have our deer Sheldon.
Exactly.
Is that Sheldon? I think we have a classroom mascot in the room, I think.
I'm gonna bring another one tomorrow.
That's a good name for a turtle.
Another Sheldon?
No, another mascot.
No, Sheldon is
Be the watermelon.
But
So-
he would be the vice mascot.
So Mr. $13 on a watermelon narwhal, which I have no clue what that is.
I'll bring it tomorrow.
I have a question for you. There is an opportunity cost when it comes to spending. Because when you spend that $13 on that watermelon narwhal, that's $13 that you don't have to spend on anything else, right? So
I mean, my grandma would have made me give it back to her.
your grandma made you give it back to her. Well, this is the thing, though. When you spend, if you think about it, we're always planning our spending. Every time we spend $1, we are saying no to thousands of other things we could have bought with that dollar. So you want to think about it. What's the impact of buying that watermelon narwhal in 10 minutes? What was the impact on you in 10 minutes?
Well, 10 minutes after I bought it, we had to leave. So we bought it at the park.
I don't know what it is. So maybe this example doesn't work when I have no clue what it is. But you can think about it like, okay,
Less money.
yeah. So in 10 minutes after buying something, you might be like, sweet, I just bought something I wanted. In 10 months, let's say it's a game console. Some of you guys really wanted a game console. Well, one person. In 10 minutes, you're still really stoked that you got that game console, right? It's fun. You're playing with it. In 10 months, are we still excited we got that new game console?
I mean, yes.
Kinda.
Kinda.
It's kind of a bit boring.
5 years.
I've been playing on it 5 years straight.
Yeah. Okay. So in 10 months, we're still pretty stoked on it. What about in 10 years?
Nah, I want something new.
In 10 years, you're going to want something new. It's probably broken.
10 years.
In 10 years, how many new versions of PlayStation have come out? Probably 10.
Yes.
There's only
And you have the PS.
technically 6 because
You know.
There's technically six versions. All right.
You have the PS.
So you want to think about all these things. What is the possible impact? What could that money be spent on? Is it really worth it? Will I still, like if you're trying to buy a watermelon narwhal, we still want it in 10 minutes. Is it worth that $13? Absolutely.
I mean, it depends how much you use it.
Yeah.
It just ends up lying in the back of your phone.
Somebody is going to have to pull out a phone and show me what this is. Because I really have no. A narwhal, I thought, was that that animal with the horn that swims in the ocean.
It's a stuffed animal that's a narwhal, but it
Okay.
has the print of a
Oh,
watermelon.
thank you. Okay, so I do know what a narwhal is. I feel better. Okay, so we need to prioritize our spending. So remember that exercise we did where we talked about what our values were. A lot of you valued hobbies over clothing, saving over giving. You guys all have that written down in your workbook. So when you're thinking of what you're going to spend your money on, look at your workbook. Look at the values that you have. Does that purchase align with the values that you already know you have? What value does it align with? Figure this out before you make a purchase. And then figure out, is there a substitute that might cost less? No. That watermelon narwhal is unique. There is no substitute.
How big is the watermelon? Is it like tiny?
So, economically, socially, or environmentally?
So this is a personal thing. When it comes to spending, you might have responsibility factors that you want to factor in when you're thinking about what you're going to buy. So maybe you're like, well, I don't ever want to buy a plastic water bottle because it's bad for the environment. So I'm going to spend more money buying a hydro flask that I can use and is better for the environment.
Remember, kids, don't buy plastic water
Yeah.
bottles anymore.
Then maybe you want to spend a little bit more money because it fits an environmental value that you have. Yeah, we all have hydro flasks in here. That's awesome.
Save a ton of money without like buying this bunch of
Yeah, you're going to save a lot of money in the long run without buying a bunch of plastic water bottles. See, you're already planning it out. There could be social factors that come into play. Maybe it's really important to you to only buy American-made products to support our economy, right? Maybe? Anyone? No? Yeah, it matters to one person. Maybe you feel like you have economic responsibility. You want to support your local businesses, buy things local, shop local, and not purchase mass-produced items on Amazon. Oh, man. But maybe you don't care. It doesn't matter. It's all personal. This is just thinking about how you're planning your spending and what's important to you and what your values are.
Sheldon's from Walgreens.
No, Sheldon's from Albertsons.
So we're circling back to this, rich versus wealthy. So
Why does their house have a car?
That's a cool house.
Or maybe why is
Yeah.
their car have cars?
So, oh, wait, there's a better graphic at one point where there's actually an airplane coming out of a house. So I promise you, we'll get to that.
Biplane equal car house.
So I think what the graphic is trying to show you there is a sports car versus a modest home. So somebody who's rich might want to spend all their money on something flashy like a sports car, or somebody who's really trying to generate wealth for themselves and for future generations is going to live within their means, live modestly, maybe own a modest home and drive a modest car, wear generic brands, but make sure that they have enough money to live comfortably and to be wealthy. That's how we're defining wealth in this class.
If and when I have kids. And I die, right?
Okay.
My will to my kids will be Sheldon.
So our class mascot, Sheldon, is going to be left to posterity when we pass away in the future. Oh, yes. Who's now on camera.
You go, girl.
So anyone keep track of their money right now? Yeah. How do you keep track of your money?
I don't know, by putting it in banks.
You put it in a bank account?
No, not in
Oh.
a bank account. Just
Piggy
somewhere to
bank.
stash money in.
You stash money?
Yeah.
Do you know, do you have any way to keep track of it? Know how much you have? Know how much you're saving? You keep note of it on a paper. That's awesome.
I have like $1,000 in a savings account in the county because in the savings account it just keeps growing.
Oh yeah, so you have money in a savings account that earns interest?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, sometimes you can earn interest in your savings accounts, which means you get some free money, which helps. And how do you track that? Do you check your online banking?
And then the bank like sends out letters.
Yeah, statements. The bank sends out statements to tell you how much money you have.
Would you think PayPal is a good place to invest?
PayPal is a good place to invest. I have no comment on that.
Yes, I do. You can invest in.
But you will. I don't know if PayPal's publicly traded, but it might be. But I think you guys are signed up for the investment class. So somebody will, in one of these classes, come to talk to you about investments and investing in the stock market. But it's not me. Not today. So net worth is just something I'm going to mention here. Net worth is the amount of money you have minus the amount of money you owe. So let's say, anyone owe anyone money right now? I think one person does.
Wait, what?
What? Why is everyone pointing at you? No. So if theoretically someone in this classroom owes somebody $5 for a necklace they bought, theoretically, and they have theoretically $10 in their bank account, their net worth is going to be $5. That's all the wealth they have, hypothetically. All the wealth they have minus what they owe is their net worth. Just hypothetically. So this hypothetical person has $5 in net worth. Thank you so much. Yes? It's okay. We can surprise you if you remember. All right. So that's really how you keep track of your wealth. So see these fancy words up here? Assets, liabilities, net worth. Your assets, that's the $10 in your bank account. Your liabilities, that's the $5 you owe for that necklace. And that's why your net worth is $10 minus $5 equals $5. And so when we're planning our spending, we already defined income. Anyone want to say a couple ways they have income again? Get a job. Okay. So first thing you're going to do is save for one of your goals when you have income. Then you're going to spend the money that you need to spend on the things that you need. And then you're going to see how much money you have remaining. So I like to do it the opposite way. I like to do it the way on the screen. So we had somebody say like, oh, well, whatever's remaining, you could just save. My husband lives that way. I don't like it. He just spends whatever his paycheck is, and then if there's something left at the end of the month, he tries to save it. I do the opposite.
Oh, no.
Right.
Bro.
Right. I pay myself first. Have you guys heard that phrase before? Pay yourself first.
Yes.
Yes. We've heard it before. So that's what I mean. I treat my savings as like a bill I have to pay. So some of you have cell phones. Anyone pay for their own cell phone? No? Anyone have a subscription they pay for?
No.
Nope. Your parents pay for everything? Once upon a time?
Well, that's because
On
my
accident.
mom always told me to just save my money for college.
Well, that's a good parent telling you to save your money for college. I like it.
But sometimes you just gotta save. You just gotta spend some money.
Sometimes you just got to spend some money. Yeah.
You just want to buy something.
And you know what? That's okay. That's why we're talking about this cash flow. You have your amount of income. First, you pay yourself. So every time you get a paycheck, or for you, maybe you're babysitting, you get some money. Maybe you get that gift from grandma for your birthday. the first thing you should do is put some money into your savings, and then you can spend the rest.
So divide them evenly.
You can divide them however it works for you. So you don't have to divide it evenly. Like for me, I don't divide it evenly because I gotta pay my mortgage, and my car payment, and my gas, and my food, and my phone bill, and my Disney Plus. Gotta have the Disney Plus.
The way how I pay is I ask my sister to get me something on the phone, and she says sure. I give her the money that I owe her,
Mhm.
and she uses my money to buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. But save first. Before you spend that money, save first. All right. So we are, I think at this point, no. No, we still got plenty of time. We still got plenty of time. We're going to transition, and I'll give you all a 3-minute break till 10:50. We'll transition into the next class because we have a whole nother class to get through. So at this point, 3 minutes till 10:50, so now only 2 minutes, and then we'll transition to the next class. So I think that's it for everyone who is tuning in. Thank you so much for coming. I guess to wrap up, since we probably should provide a wrap up, is that we talked about income, we talked about needs versus wants, we talked about how to save for goals. And one of the reasons why we talk so much about saving for goals in a budgeting class is because having a goal, having something that you want to achieve, really encourages you to create a spending plan and to save money because you know what you're going to get at the end of it. All right, thank you.